I decided if ever I get the chance to ever come here again, there are things that I need to remember and things that I wish I could do. So I thought I'd make a whole video on that. And it might be useful for someone, even if it's just my future self. All around the park there is opportunities for you to be able to have a drink. So like there's water fountains, 2 different heights for kids, for adults, which I think is really good. But also if you go to any restaurant, anything where they're selling drinks, you can ask them for ice water for free. You might know this already, but this is a really good top tip because it means you can stay hydrated on really cold water all day long. Another top tip is to bring a flannel with you, or you can buy cooling towels. So basically you can really saturate those in water so that you can keep yourself cool all day long. When you walk around any of the Disney parks, you'll just be amazed with how clean and tidy they are. Even the toilets, won't go into too much detail, but they are the cleanest toilets you'll ever see, and they're always cleaning them as well. But definitely walking around the park, you will always see clean and tidy. There's always a bin, and we actually got told a tale about that. Chewing gum is banned, and also Walt Disney had a hot dog, and he then walked, and then at the point where he'd finished his hot dog and therefore had got rubbish, he put an X on the floor, or his assistant put an X on the floor, and they said that's where we'll put a bin. And then they measured out like a certain distance all around and basically said that's where we will put bins, and they continue to follow that same process. So I thought that was really interesting, and that explains why we haven't seen a single bit of rubbish. Perfect example of the free water. You just walk into any cafe, any restaurant, cheers, and you get free water. And it's important to add that you actually get ice water. So cold, so refreshing. Perfect. One of the rides actually stopped working, so they said, sorry, we're going to have to, not evacuate, but yeah, you're going to have to leave the queue. We'll give you a free lightning lane pass. So we're just using that now for the haunted house. All around the park you can take part in pin trading. So I went online and I bought 20 lots of these pins, made sure they were the authentic ones. And basically you go around all of the parks, all of the hotels as well, and you basically trade. So I gave each child 10 pins, and then literally just, it's the nicest way of being able to go into shops, the different places around the park. Here's a lovely example. And all the ones that they didn't want, they've literally just traded. So that is a really good thing to focus on.
And you can get some really rare pins for like some little ones, and they can't even say no to you.
When you walk around Epcot, I remember that this same thing when I was younger, that you can buy a passport and you can go around and get stamps on your passport. But interestingly, a new thing, I don't know when they started this, you can do it without buying the passport, and you basically get given this paper version, I suppose, of a passport, and basically they give you a different card from every country. What I really like is you get a sticker, so of course the kids love that, but interestingly they sometimes will say in some of the countries like where are you from, or they'll talk to you, and so like when they went to I think it was Japan, the people actually wrote the children's names in the writing, so I thought that was really good. All of these things are basically really good because what you can do is it kind of focuses the mind rather than just walking around. Definitely focuses the kids because we did 25,000 steps that day, and that was a really, really good day. One other good thing was bringing an autograph book. It was kind of like a last minute thing. We bought them for Disneyland Paris a few years ago, didn't get a single autograph because it was the whole COVID thing. But this year, just before we came, I was like, let's get, like the ones that you have at the end of school. We went and got one of those, just stuck Mickey on the front, and we have received how many?
We've received 52.
52 autographs, and that's from all the different parks. And actually, we're staying at Old Key West. There were some characters that turned up there. Something else actually very similar to the whole Epcot thing is in Animal Kingdom you can walk around and kind of pretend that you're a ranger, and you will be given stickers at different locations throughout, and then at the end they give you a prize, which the kids absolutely love. So it made us again really focused with doing loads and loads of walking, learning lots about animals and insects and things, and yeah, so the kids really enjoyed that too.
One more thing is that when you finish the trail, you have to do a scout thing, like you have to put your hand to your heart and see the thing right next to it, but yeah.
I am averaging about 17,000 steps per day, so therefore one big thing is the week before we came, I tried on different trainers. I also tried to up my step count each day so that I could really have the most comfortable shoes ever. I did start off with Vans, but they were too flat. I started to hurt my feet, so I did buy some trainers, some Reebok trainers, and they really helped with the amount of steps that you have to do throughout the day. It's not just about the heat, it's about how much area you have to cover. Make sure the shorts that you wear are super comfortable too. I know you can get chub rub stuff, but for me, cycling shorts have been the absolute best thing ever. I presume this is the same for all of the hotels, like on site, but the supermarkets are super expensive and also didn't have loads in there. But what I would say is that we found an Aldi was really close, so we just got an Uber that cost us like $10, and we went to Aldi and we just got absolutely loads. I mean, it is like a self-catering place for Old Key West, so it was really good. So don't go crazy in the supermarket thinking this is the only place I can get stuff. There is Aldi just around the corner, and I know that might ruin the holiday feel, but the price of the shop in the complex was, wow, out of this world. Whilst we were out here, we thought we were going to have to use lightning lanes because we knew that Tron and Tiana Bay, they would not have their own like standing normal queue. But thankfully, if you got up at 7 in the morning and put yourself in a virtual queue, we managed to get on all of those things. We found, there's 5 of us on this trip, that when we were putting on the Tiana ride, the 5 of us, it really didn't like that, and we just was like, no, full straight away. Whereas if we said 4, if we said 2, or with Tron it was just me, worked straight away, and it gave you a number, and you just had to check throughout the day so that you could go to your place. You basically have an hour window where you could go and go on the ride. The lightning lanes are actually really quite expensive to purchase, so we're really quite pleased that you didn't have to do that. Oh, and one thing I would say about the virtual queue, you don't just get to turn up and then like go straight on the ride. Be prepared that you might have to queue up to an hour. When you walk down Main Street, keep your eye out for little areas where there's like just loads of benches and you can go and sit down there and have a drink. We decided that when we came that we were going to get some like personal fans, like that you could use yourself. And we went on Amazon, we found some, but actually when we went on Temu, we found those exact same fans. So we ordered some from Amazon, some from Temu, the identical fans at literally a fraction of the price, and they have been amazing to use.
If you do have a little one you're going to Disney, I do warn you, around 5 o'clock in Hollywood Studios, they tend to go away, but it's only most of the characters because sometimes you can actually find some more.
Yeah, so we have been definitely saying like, we'll save this for later, we'll save that for later, and we knew that we were coming to Magic Kingdom 3 times, so it was really important that we tried to get everything done, but I don't want you to be disappointed thinking I'm going to save everything until later, and then eventually like Maribel, she goes away at 4:45, that's in Magic Kingdom, so we were a bit like, the first time we were here, we were like, oh, we'll do her later, and they were like, no, 4:45, she goes. So we made sure we got that done today. One thing I would say is be prepared for all types of weather. If it's raining, the parks still run. If it's thundering, the rides stop, but you can still be there, apart from in the water parks when they do kind of ask you to leave. But the one solution is get a poncho. Just cheap, just off Amazon, really lightweight, carry it in your rucksack, and it will just save the day for when it rains, because it will, and 2, for a water ride. One thing I would recommend is planning your rides before you go into the parks. They do have the brochures, you do have the app. One thing I would do, share it with your team and your tween so they can decide what rides they want to go on. There's nothing worse than getting in a queue and having tears of, I don't want to do this. Woo, better get off this ride. But definitely look into the ride so you can plan your day around the rides, the queue times, it's all there, so all for the planning. We haven't overly stressed about where we're going to stand, we've just found a nice little spot. We went on a ride and then we looked at the times at 8:30, so we just had a little mooch around, found somewhere really well organised. Please do not feel that you have to get stressed in finding the perfect spot. It's all in the sky after all, and the castle looks beautiful from any angle.
Mommy!
But that's our view.